welcome to episode 27 of the Daddy Brigade podcast. I'm Keith the Bearded Tank.
I'm Zach the Tactical Gnome.
And we have another guest. Who is it, Zach?
This would be Jaye from Liberty Bell Firearms. What's going on, sir?
Another day, man. Ready for another week.
So, I met Jaye through another mutual friend of all three of us. That would be Josh, or a.k.a. Opie and the Smokies. Basically, that's kind of how, I met you through him and added you on Facebook, and, because I'm kind of jealous of all you Tennessee boys.
I'm actually not from Tennessee.
Where are you from?
Indiana.
Oh, so you're in Indiana.
I'm in Indiana.
Oh, okay. So you get to deal with the same shit weather that we do in Ohio. I thought you were from Tennessee for some reason.
Nope. So me and him kind of got linked up. We've been following his Facebook page for a little while. I've owned this business since 2017, and I was just kind of like, he's kind of up and coming in the YouTube game and all that kind of stuff, and I just reached out to him and I said, hey man, if you ever need anything, I'm sure you probably have a good hookup for gun parts and stuff, but if you need anything, let me know. And he's like, I actually don't have a hookup for gun parts. So we started talking, we became friends, so I basically sponsor the channel with parts, whatever he needs, I get it to him, Cerakote stuff for him, stuff like that, just kind of do whatever I can for him, and then we became friends in the process, so.
Nice.
So it worked out real well. We went down there on a family vacation back in July, and the day that we got there, we got to the cabin, and then 30 minutes later, I left and went to the range with him, and we spent like 4 hours at the range shooting the rest of the day.
Nice.
And then I went back, and then it was the rest of the 3 days was family stuff the rest of the vacation. So
the family was like, "Where were you for 4 hours?" Don't ask.
They didn't even care because they're like, "We're tired. We don't want to. We've been driving all day. We just want to go to bed." And I'm like, "I'm going to shoot."
Yeah, I'm going to sling lead for a while.
Yeah, well, it was pretty cool because so we did a couple of videos and stuff that day, and I had built a rifle for a customer, a guy that's out there in Claysville. He's been it's kind of funny. He was one of my first customers, and we've become friends too. Like, he's a guy I can call if I need anything, having a bad day or whatever. You call this guy up. Like, we're actually friends now, and I'm also his gun dealer. So
those are always good friends to have. I mean, in the area we're from, that would be your drug dealer because, well, it's Youngstown, Ohio. But no, that would be awesome to have friends that are your gun dealer and good friends be like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm having a shit day. Oh, hey, by the way, you should check out this new muzzle brake we got. That'd be a great way to just, have good conversations.
So he was super. I was like, do you care if I take the gun down to Tennessee with me and shoot it a lot before I send it to you? He goes, no. He goes, that's totally fine with me. So we took it out to Opie's range. And when I sent him videos of me hitting that small target at 250 yards, he was like, wait, that's the rifle you built for me? I was like, yeah, here it is. Like, enjoy all of this. We probably had 15 minutes of video of us shooting this thing. And he's like, okay, when are you shipping it to me? I'm ready. I need this thing now.
I'm like, just tell him, oh, well, you know what? I'll just drop it off on my way back home. I'll make it like a 3-hour detour.
Well, I'm trying. So Josh just posted we're doing the Ugly Sweater range day, December 28th. And I'm trying to, I told him, I said, I will drive all the way to where you're at, and we'll pick you up, and you can go with me. I'll go out of my way. I think it's like 4 hours out of the way. So I'll pick you up and let's go. So he said he's going to get back to me. Hopefully he does. That'd be
nice.
Cool.
Somebody had mentioned the other day about having on the Red Beard Society about meeting up in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, down. Just tell me, I will gladly drive to wherever. Because I looked at the one guy where he said he was from, and he's like all the way across the state, and I'm like, I punched it in because I was at the airport. I'm like, 2.5 hour drive. Yeah, I'll do it.
I lived in New Jersey for 3 years.
I'm sorry.
I moved out there for a job. Great experience. Awful cost of living. My goodness. I spent like a 2-week paycheck covered my rent and my groceries for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to pump your own gas.
That was this. I got into a day one. I'm pulling into the gas station, get out, and the guy's like, "Here, I'll do that for you." I'm like, "No, thanks, I'm fine. I don't need your help."
He's like, "No, it's illegal for you to do it yourself."
He's like, "No, I have to." I was like, "No, you don't have to. It's fine." Like, he goes, "No, like it's illegal for you to pump your own gas." Like, I thought he was messing with me, but it's a state law.
Yeah,
That is ridiculous.
yeah. I ran into that when I traveled when I worked for Advanced Auto Parts. We were there, and my supervisor got out of the company van, was getting ready to put gas in it. The little Arab guy comes around. No, you no touch. It's like, oh my gosh.
Holy crap.
I think the worst part about it, though, like other than it just being stupid, the worst part, if you're running behind, you better not have to do it.
Yeah.
Because if it's busy, you might wait 15 minutes to get your car filled up. I mean, it's not like a quick hop out, fill the car up in 3 minutes, and you're gone.
Yeah. It's like those lines for the Tesla charging stations.
I hate electric cars. I grew up out in the country, and grew up around diesel trucks. My dad's always had diesels, growing up around diesel equipment. So, yeah, absolutely, I've always been. I had a 04 Mustang GT that was street, like it was built for the street, but ready to race. So high up, like 93 octane and everything. So I don't care. And I've driven my dad's diesel, which has a little bit of work done to it, and I will purposely smoke out a Prius if I pull up next to one.
I would always, in the Camaro, I would always park beside a Prius if I could, and I'd make sure to rev the engine a lot before I left.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually am trying to convince my dad to put a sticker on his bumper that is right above the exhaust that says Prius repellent.
that would be awesome.
He won't do it, but his truck doesn't smoke like, you see these guys that roll coal constantly. His doesn't do that unless you put it in the street performance and smash the pedal through the floor. But then it also wants to shit and get, because at that point in time it's putting down close to 2,000 foot-pounds of torque. Like, it just... And it'll break 20-inch... we were coming back today, and now I had to go to help him pick up a fridge, and we had it on a trailer. But we come around to get on the turnpike, and he stood on it a little bit. The road's was wet, but it started breaking 20-inch rims loose, and that was in a street tune. It's like, yeah, you may need to back that off a little bit. But, I mean, it puts down... I got on it one night while I was driving it in the performance tune, and it threw close to about 750 horse to the wheels and just stupid amount of torque. And that was at like 30 pounds of boost. But then once it leveled out, I mean, it was a rocket. I was like, oh, this is too dangerous to be doing this shit.
I kept saying I was going to twin turbo the Camaro, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like guns, car. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I can vouch for that. I'm a gearhead and a gun guy.
That was actually like, so what really kind of got the business rolling was I ended up selling the Camaro, and then taking the money that I was putting into the Camaro every month and putting it into the business every month.
Oh, there you go.
Get things moving. It was like the worst and best decision I made.
Yeah, that happens. All right, so
now I'll just buy a new Camaro and call it the company car.
Yeah, there you go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Make it the company delivery car.
twin turbo Camaro. Not that I'm a Camaro guy. I am not a Chevy guy, but I always tell people from 1970 back, I don't care what car you have. If you throw me the keys, I will take it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I actually am a very big fan of the '69 Camaro SS, the old school Chevelle SS, 396. I like my old school cars, but as I'm also a Mustang fan, so People give me shit because I'm a Mustang guy. No, I haven't taken out any crowds.
I was just about to ask if you...
I have definitely put the car off the road doing stupid shit, like trying to do a burnout, and then I went over an embankment. Didn't damage the car, I just drove out the other side of the embankment. Like, nobody's business.
It's happened to the best.
Well, I bought a brand new set of tires and had them on, and my friend's like, dude, these tires are, like, super sticky. And I'm like, they can't be that sticky. And I just dumped the clutch and, like, whoop, and it just went straight in one big circle. Like, I was like, shit, they were really sticky. That was the last time I think I did a burnout like that with those tires until I fried them off at the track. But, so, let's get into some of the questions we have here. So give us a little background about you, who you are, where you got, how you got started into this, how you got started into Liberty Bell, and how long you've been into the firearms.
So I've kind of always liked firearms, but I didn't really start getting into them until I moved back to Indiana from New Jersey, because I couldn't really own any guns in New Jersey because the laws were terrible. So I had to sell every gun I had before I moved, and then when I came back, I don't know, kind of started picking up. I picked up an AR, and I started working on it, changing parts out. And I'm like, I'd really like to do this, Went by a couple of years of just kind of tinkering and more or less like life. And there was one day I was just like, I want to be in the firearms industry somehow. I don't know what, I don't know how, I'm working a full-time job, so I'm in the Air Force full-time.
I was going to ask if you were a vet, and the only reason I was going to ask is because of the haircut.
Yeah, I like it like this. I've been in, next month will be 15 years that I've been doing that. So I work out of Fort Wayne on the A10s up here.
You work on the A10s?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I don't know whether to hate you or be jealous.
It's a great gig. So I've been doing that for a long time, and I was like, I want to get into firearms somehow. I don't know how. And I saw a YouTube video about Sonoran Desert Institute, which is an online gunsmithing school. And I said, I've still got some school benefits I haven't used. So that day I applied, and here I was, 30 years old, been out of high school forever, and it's like, I'm never going to college. And then there I was in college 2 months later. So while I was kind of starting the process and getting into that, I was like, you know what, I can do this. Like, I can run a company. I can do this. So I founded the company, got the firearms license in August of 2017. And it's been awesome ever since. So started out just kind of doing ARs, 1911, selling parts, your common stuff. And then in March of this year, started offering Cerakote. And my goodness, the business has exploded.
I think that's when I started hearing about you, was in March from Josh.
Because Josh and I got hooked up in January of this past year, so...
Yeah, that's, I think, when you started doing the Cerakote is when I started to hear more about you. And then when you did the lowers for him, I was like, all right, yeah, I gotta either become friends with this dude or need to get in contact with this guy.
Yep, so we started doing lowers. That was last August that we did our first run. And then this year we just got our second run in not too long ago, and we're kind of expanding a little bit. We just, Friday, I got the first 4 handguards in. It's kind of...
I watched the video on that.
And man, I got home, I was talking to the guy that I'm kind of working with to get these manufactured, and we were on the phone Thursday night, and he's like, all right, he goes, we've got them done, we're ready, he's going to laser logo on, he goes, I just need your approval, and then I'll get them shipped out to you. And he's like, they'll be there tomorrow, and it's like 7 o'clock Thursday night. I'm like, there ain't no way they're going to be here tomorrow, but thanks, appreciate it. And I got an email from UPS at noon on Friday, your handguards have been delivered, and I'm like, I want to leave work early so I can go home and see these.
It's like, damn, he really said they were going to be here.
I'm very sorry. I did not think that he would get them overnighted, and he did. He overnighted them.
Obviously, that wasn't the UPS driver from Florida.
Definitely not. So yeah, we got them in, and they. Oh man, I'm super excited. They look great. They feel great.
They look really good.
Did a lot of testing with them, so it's kind of nice to have one that is actually mine, something I can put my name on.
That's awesome.
So, and I think they're coming in really cheap, not cheap quality, but cheap cost. So we're getting 7-inch, 10-inch, 13 and 15-inch, and they're going to be 105, 115, 125, 135.
And that's way below what most of the companies are asking for them out there.
Yep, and they're coming in pretty light. I think the 13-inch came in at 8.4 ounces, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Looks like I'm getting rid of my MOE.
And then even with the barrel nuts, 2.5 ounces. So even with the barrel nut, you're still around 11 ounces for 13-inch. So,
wow.
In my opinion, like we spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what we like. Do we want them? How thick do we want them to be? How narrow, wide? I mean, everybody's wanting. There's so many things that people want. I mean, the Aero Atlas handguards are some of the most popular ones on the market. But at the same time, some people absolutely hate them because they're too thin or too narrow. Mm-hmm. So we tried to come up with something that was a little bit in between and came up with a perfect product. So I absolutely love them.
Yeah, looks like I'm getting rid of the MOE, and
nice.
I got to change out my gas block too because I got an A2 front sight.
Oh, fun!
Hey, that's easy stuff, though.
Yeah,
that's easy stuff.
The one thing that I did hear you mention in the video is it's the inner diameter is not quite big enough for the suppressor.
It is not. That is for sure. It's a 1.312 inner diameter, which won't really fit. There might, I don't think there's any suppressors out there that'll fit that. So if you're going for that look, you won't be able to achieve it with it.
I was gonna say because if you had, I know a guy right now. If you had one that would fit, I think his is a 1.75 for diameter. Like he would, I would be like, here, go see him, like, because that's his big holdup right now. Building an AR9 is he's got everything done, he just doesn't have a handguard. I'm like, dude, just use the suppressor as a friggin'. He's only got like a 5-inch barrel with a can on the end of it. I'm like, you literally could just hold the suppressor. It looks like one of those, like, old, like, 80s movies, like, where they've got, like, the short barrel and the big giant can. Like, I'm like, just hold the suppressor.
I built, about a year ago, a 9mm AR, used the Max Defense CQB brace, and it had a 4.5-inch barrel. The whole entire thing with the brace collapses in 18 inches.
Jesus!
Had a 3.5-inch handguard and a Fostech Echo trigger in it.
Oh, I bet you that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was like $1,800 for this whole setup, but I mean, my goodness.
See, I'm gonna build. My goal is to build a AR9 this year. But I want it to be. I want an 8-inch barrel, at least. But I want to keep it to where when I compact it down, I'm gonna put a side folder on it and everything.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That I can drop it in a book bag or a go bag, and it's all there. All I got to do is just break it out.
That's awesome. Well, I've got an 8-inch Ballistic Advantage 9mm barrel that was brand new. I had a customer trade. He bought it, and then he brought it back a week later. He goes, "I want to go with a 5-inch barrel." I'm like, "Okay."
We may need to talk later.
Yep, we'll definitely have to talk later. I think I've had that thing sitting on the shelf for 6 months now. So.
Oh wow. So, we kind of already touched on question number 2, which was tell us about your company and everything. Let's see. You want to go? I mean, I feel like these last 2 interviews, I've done all the question asking, but I've also done all the emailing too.
Yeah. I'm the behind the scenes guy. So, what does your everyday carry stuff look like? Like, what do you carry?
My everyday carry. Well, here, hold on. I'll grab it for you.
Levi.
My everyday carry is a Glock 43.
Glock guy.
Yep. And then I run the Strike Industries +2 mag extensions.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I've been wanting to know how people were liking those.
I actually really like them because, as you can tell, I can't get a good grip.
I'm guilty of that.
With the mag extensions on there, I 100% can.
Nice.
And then slide work done by Zeroed In Armory.
That's nice.
Phenomenal company. I've actually got. Hold on. I've got plenty of stuff close by, and that wasn't by design. It's just because I keep things a mess.
Sounds like my office.
Sounds like my house right now.
Then I've got, this is a Gen 5 G17 slide done by them as well.
That's
nice.
They do really good work, and you catch them on sale, you're going to pay next to nothing. I think I paid $150 for the cutting and the RMR cut as well.
Wow.
This one's a Vortex Viper cut, but yeah.
I've got to get my 19 done. I've got my 19. I'm gonna get it done, and then one of our friends, our mutual friend, has convinced me to go get a Model 45, and then I'm gonna get that one done too. Because I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna get the 19 done, because the 19 I want to use for possibly shooting 3-gun, so I'll have extra stuff done to it. And he's like, well, if you get the 45, you might as well have it cut for an RMR and do this. I was like, Tyler, you're not helping me. Like, I will do this.
Yeah, no joke. I'll show off one more slide. This one was not done by Zeroed In Armory. This was one that I had a friend of mine who is the gunsmith at Freedom Firearms Unlimited out in New Jersey. He did the cutting on this, and we did some horse trading for parts and stuff like that, and he sent me that slide, and then I'm the one that Cerakoted it.
I like that. What color is that?
So this is tungsten. This is tungsten Cerakote, and then the Liberty there is blue titanium.
That's awesome.
I like
Can you see that blue
Yeah, just at
just
the
barely.
right angle, you can see it right there.
There you go.
Showing up on my thing. So that blue titanium is the same color as this slide here. That is what that is.
I like that.
I didn't think I would, but I've got it in, and I've used so much of it. It is such a common seller for people. People love that blue titanium.
I may have to send something out to you to get that done. I like that color.
I really like it. I've been toying with Cerakote a lot. I mean, I had a blend lower from the first run, and I was like, you know what? I was bored one day. I had finally got all the work cleared out, and I was like, I feel like doing something. What am I going to do? So I came up with this guy right here.
Oh, I've seen the pictures of that one.
Okay. I've seen the pictures of that.
I came up with that, and that is NRA blue, midnight blue. It's not black, which kind of sucks because it looks more black than it does. It's actually a really dark blue, and then that's that tungsten as well.
Have you played the new Call of Duty yet at all?
No, I haven't.
There's a camouflage that matches that on there.
No joke.
If I think about it if I play any more tonight, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Yeah, please.
It legit looks exactly like that.
Well, yeah, that's awesome because I was sitting there. I'd had this triangle pattern, and I was like, what would look good with this pattern? I had no clue, so I just grabbed every bottle of Cerakote I had and had it sitting out in front of me, and I was like, you. All right, let's spray it. Let's see what happens. And that was the end result.
I've done that with paint for custom stuff before. When I used to paint cars, it's like, we're doing a custom one. Okay, let's go with this one. Yeah, let's take that, and what the hell? Had a whole bunch of pearl.
Yep.
I did that. I don't actually have it down here to show you, but I did that when I went to Wyoming Technical Institute.
Okay.
And before they ripped everybody off. And we had to build a mailbox out of just flat stock. So we had to build this whole mailbox. My mailbox has a $3,000 paint job on it.
That's crazy.
And
That's cool, though.
I did Marbleizer and the candies and everything. But I was the first person at that school to ever run. When you do Marbleizer paint, you have to run a black or a white. And I was the first person that said, bullshit, I'm running my own base coat. And I ran a red. And it enhanced it so much because I did red candies and everything. And threw a bunch of pearl in it. And the one head instructor come out for the whole campus. And he goes, hold on. He starts running. He says, your mailbox has got a $3,000 paint job on it. Just for a mailbox. That will never see the light of day because if I ever put it outside, somebody would smash it in a heartbeat, I'm sure.
No joke.
But, so yeah, it sits on a shelf and reminds me that I wasted a year and a half going to school that now I can't even use.
No, yeah, I heard about they ripped a lot of people off there, didn't they?
Yep. Luckily, most of that was done after I left. But yeah, they're
still around. Mine is gone.
Yeah.
I went to a local Trumbull Business College in Warren here, and like a year after I got my degree, they said, "Oh yeah, we're closing up because we lost our accreditation." I'm like, "Oh, well, at least I have my degree."
Yeah, thanks.
No joke.
Got no support anymore from the school or anything, but you know.
Can you hear us okay on our end?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Do you have any way of turning up your volume just a smidge?
Because on your mic, because you're coming up real quiet.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes these mics don't want to work very good.
Yeah.
That actually is...
Is that any better?
It was better when you were holding it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here, I'll do this so you can hear a little bit better. How's that?
That's good. That's good. So let's see. You got... I'm going to let you ask a few because I feel like I've taken the whole interview.
Okay. Well, what do your training habits look like? I mean, do you go to the range regularly? What kind of drills do you do? Do you use any aids like the Mantis or anything like that?
I don't go nearly as much as I want to. Space has been kind of limited out here unless I want to pay $500 for a range membership out here.
Yikes.
For a garbage range that... I mean, I'd be better going, like, I live in town, and I'd be better, like, going in my backyard than to go there.
Yikes.
And then during the winter, training comes off a little bit, just because of the cold weather, and it's harder to get out and train. But I try, anytime I go and test fire rifles, I try to set up targets and at least run some basic, like, 3-target drills or dot drills or something like that, just to maintain some proficiency. And then we qual at work, you know, we have to qual with our rifles and stuff every couple of years and pistols and stuff like that. So it may not be with my everyday carry, but at least I'm getting some training.
Right.
You got to hit somewhere on like a foot-by-foot target, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not making fun of the Air Force, I swear.
No, that's okay. It doesn't even bother me.
I was going to go Air Force out of high school until I broke my ankle, so...
I'd still make fun of you regardless.
I know you would. They told me I was medically no-go because of the plate and screws that's in my ankle still, so... I was pissed. I was going for, it was going to be a...
How can we get to two like broken dudes that get discharged for medical out of the military?
Yeah.
I got medically disqualified because I broke my left ankle 3 times and my back in 3 spots. And I was initially wanted to go to the Marine Corps when I broke my ankle the third time, and they're like, no. And then 8 years later, I tried to go to the Air Force to do security forces, and I'm like, look, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. Like, I don't want to waste my time going to MEPS and everything and getting denied. Like, look, I broke my back in 3 spots. I'm fine. And they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
It got to the point, absolutely not, that they sent me a letter from DOD and said that I'm medically exempt. It was like, well,
from
that's...
all branches of
service. From all branches, including the Coast Guard. I was like, that sucks.
They're not even a real branch.
And you know what the screwed up part is? Is working for Department of Homeland Security, it's kind of a lateral transfer.
Yep.
I can't even transfer to them.
That sucks.
I'm like, wow, I guess I can't go jump on a little pirate sub and knock on the thing and tell the guy to... That was the most baddest ass thing I've seen in a while. Like, banging on the lid, like, pull over! It's like, dude... Like, where do you want him to pull over at? But, like, I could understand screaming that because that's what you're used to yelling. But, like, yeah.
That was probably one of the most badass things ever.
I'm sorry. I would have still probably thrown a flashbang as soon as he, like, broke the hatch. I would have been like, dink! Hold it down. Boom. Okay, we're not going anywhere. They're all deaf. I'm good. This thing ain't moving. Oh, yeah. So, what's it like working in the firearm industry? Especially with everything going on and, you know, the red flag laws and, guns are bad, MK, and...
Well, see, so I'm fortunate enough that where Indiana's a pretty gun-friendly state, and the community that I'm in is a pretty gun-friendly community. I mean, we're a town, like the town I'm in, we're a town of like 10,000 people, and we've got, including me,
that's big for me and him.
Yeah, my hometown is like, I think now that Chesapeake rolled through, they're up to like 5,700 people.
Dang.
Yeah, how many are in this community?
I don't know, but the one that we graduated from downgraded from a city to a village.
Yeah, they actually.
My hometown is a village.
The city that me and my wife graduated from, they downgraded from a city to a village. That was only after, I think, somebody got in trouble for counting dead people. Pretty sure that's what happened, but I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. And then where I live now, I think it's I don't even know what you call this. It's a township, and I think there's like 3,200.
In Berlin Center, there's probably like 300.
Yeah, in the actual Berlin Center area that I live, there's like 300.
Wow.
Like, I can walk out my back door and fire off a pistol, and people would be like, oh, he's shooting today, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until it bangs off the backstop.
Ting! Yeah. That's the only downside is we have a baseball field, a youth baseball field, literally like diagonal out from my back door. So we shoot on the opposite side of my barn. I've never had a problem, but they decided to put a football field right up against like our property. I was like, my shooting range was here first.
Yeah, no.
You guys are gonna have to get used to it. Like I told him, I was like, look, I won't shoot, when there's kids and stuff over there. But just because you put a football field over there doesn't mean I'm not gonna shoot. I may use your guys' football field for training, so shush.
That's the way it should be. All football fields should become firearms training.
Yeah, because that's a guaranteed 100-yard range.
Yeah. And they built a perfect pistol stop right there for me.
Yeah.
See, that was where I loved going down to Opie's range. Oh man, that's a sweet range. Because they've got.
I'm jealous of that range, and I've only seen pictures of here and here. I'm just like, damn it.
Yeah, they've got a really good pistol course there. And then when we moved over to the rifle, they just had 2 targets set up because they hadn't used it in a while. So they had a 100-yard target, and then they had a 250 or 270-yard target as well. And it was a lot of fun. We had tons of fun that day.
Yeah.
So I took the Glock that I built. I finished it the night before we left. Said, all right, let's see if this thing will run.
I was out there.
It ran, didn't have any failures. It shot great. So
nice.
I was pretty happy with it overall. Here in town we've got 2 full like retail gun shops, and then you've got me, and then there's one other guy that's kind of like doing a little side gig, repairs and stuff like that too. So we've got. For all intents and purposes, we've got like 4 gun shops in this town of 10,000.
Nice.
So, this is a question that we don't even have. So, for somebody like you that is in the gun industry, how does somebody like us start our own gun shop without like treading on your business?
Well, see, and that's where the market is so saturated right now. It's hard to get into without stepping on somebody's toes. But the biggest thing that I found was here in town, we had the 2 retail shops. And so for all things that are related to selling your Glocks and your M&Ps and, you know, your basic stuff that most people want.
You mean your high points?
High points. You got to get the ghetto blasters. And
I
Yeet cannon.
I will be buying a Yeet cannon when it comes out, just for the simple fact that when my kid turns 18, I will be like, "Here you go, buddy. Here's your first pistol."
I've got 2 Aero Precision Yeet cannon lowers.
Nice.
I don't know what they're going to turn into. Who knows?
If they would have made one in 9mm, like I would have probably bought one.
Man, people have been up Arrow's ass about making 9mm lowers for forever.
I think everybody has been up Arrow's ass
We're
forever.
working on it.
It's like, just make one already.
I think so. They've got it in the works. My sales rep, she's real cool. And every time I ask her about it, she's like, "Really, we're gonna have this conversation again?" Yeah,
It's
we're
like,
gonna have this conversation again. Like,
yes, until it comes out, we're gonna keep having this.
because New Frontier Armory makes phenomenal lowers. I've used their 9mm lowers.
They're just never in stock.
They're just never in stock. They're great products, and I think retail on them is like $170,
Yeah.
$160.
I was gonna buy one, but they're never in stock.
They're never in stock.
So I'm probably gonna use a Foxtrot mic lower.
Check out White Label Armory out of Chicago, somewhere in Illinois.
Okay. Never heard of them.
Yep. So they are. It's funny. They're not a new company at all, but they are new to selling parts. So they're a OEM manufacturer and have been for I don't even know, a long time.
Oh, nice.
They never sold their own parts. They just made them for everybody else.
Ah, what are those people?
Yep. So now they're selling their own parts, and you can get them. So if you haven't heard of Leviathan Group, they're out of Michigan. All they do is marketing stuff. Like, they market for people in the gun industry. That's what they do. So if I wanted them to market for me, I pay them, $5,000 or whatever. And
You do it with the automotive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are making firearms now. You can buy Leviathan Group firearms. They're White Label Armory firearms.
Oh, nice.
Like 100% White Label Armory.
They're just rebranded.
Yes. Which, that's not a ding on them. That's great on their end because they don't have to carry any of the manufacturing side of it. They just
have the marketing and.
Yep. So good on them, but they're great firearms. There's nothing wrong with them. Their White Label Armory makes phenomenal parts. So they make. I can't remember what the cost of their 9mm lowers is. I'd have to double check. But
That's something I can talk to you later about.
they make good quality products. But getting into the firearms industry, it all see you gotta find your niche. You gotta find your market, and it's gonna be why would people come to you to buy whatever it is that you're wanting. Like for me, people don't come to me to buy like your run-of-the-mill handgun. That's not my customer base. I can do that. If somebody
They want custom.
Right. If somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, you know what? I want a Glock 43. Will you sell me one?" Yep, sure. Let me get it ordered in for you, and you'll have it in a couple of days, and that's that.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn down business.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I can get almost any product.
Oh, you
firearm.
magically got short.
I can get almost anything out there, so I'm not going to turn down business. But what's kind of become my market was custom ARs, custom 1911s. It's kind of like it just kind of fell in place. That wasn't really my plan, but that's kind of what happened. And then now Cerakote. Cerakote's 85% of my business. So,
See, I think like for me, the big thing that I have is people were constantly asking me, "Hey, can you build me an AR? Hey, can you build me an AR?" And I was like, legally, no.
You buy the stuff.
You buy the stuff and come up to my house, and
we'll put it together.
And I'm going to have you tap 2 pins in, and I'll build the rest of it. But like, constantly. I mean, right now I probably have 6 or 7 people that want me to build them an AR by next year. And I'm like, dude, I don't even have my FFL yet. Let me get my FFL, and then, like, you tell me what you want, and I'll build it so when you take it home, like, your wife's going to divorce your ass. I don't care. Like,
You're a dick.
my one friend wants me to basically build him. He wants a SBR with a suppressor. He basically wants the operator gun. And he's like, money's not an issue. He's like, I just want it built. And I was like, dude, I'm not responsible if you get a divorce from this.
That's an expensive gun.
I'm like, I'll build it with, you know, top quality parts, but I am not responsible if you get a divorce from this.
Yep. Yeah, it's all a matter of finding out what people need, what people want, and then going after it. So getting the FFL is probably the first thing, and it wasn't terrible. It was definitely a process, but it wasn't insanely difficult. So
Yeah, even for a federal employee, it's still a pain in the ass.
yeah, I think honestly, like the most pain in the ass part was the interview, because it was like almost 4 hours.
Ouch.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like an inspection / interview where they come to where your property is. So like for me, I run the shop out of my house. I have a dedicated shop. That was the biggest hurdle to overcome, is because they have a law that says if you're going to do a shop out of your house, you have to have a room in your house, your garage, or whatever the case, that is dedicated to the business.
Yeah.
It can be nothing else. So I had to do some remodeling and make that work. But yeah,
I think we have that space enough. I have an old, on our property when we, it used to be a barber shop back up until the 70s.
Okay.
And I'm like, this would be a perfect little shop.
Yep. But so for me, I mean, I've learned it's not about your resources, it's about your resourcefulness. So if you can make it work, if you can deliver a good quality product, that's what matters. I mean, I don't have the $30,000 worth of Cerakote equipment. I mean, what I have isn't cheap by any means, but you know, I don't have the robots spraying the Cerakote for me in the spray booth, you know.
Right. So you said you went to Sonoran Desert Institute?
Sure did.
What was that?
Yeah.
How was that?
I really enjoyed it. I got the full associate's degree, so it is actually a college degree, not just a certification in firearms technology. It took me 14 months to get it. It was pretty intensive, but I really enjoyed it. I mean,
because I've been looking into that. I looked at American Gunsmithing Institute, but they're expensive.
Yep.
And they
that the
don't
one
have
out of
any
PA?
financing. No.
What's the one out of Pittsburgh?
I don't know what's
There's one in Pennsylvania that's, I forget. I thought that was American Gunsmithing.
I don't remember.
I know the one in Pennsylvania is stupid expensive.
Yeah, I really enjoyed SDI, and I mean, having the VA pay for it, I think I paid like $700 total for my degree.
See, I wish I could do that.
Did you get any like tools or anything that went with it?
Yes, I would say total of what I got value wise out of the class or out of the whole 2-year degree program was probably around, I'd say like $1,700 or $1,800 worth of stuff, between tools, like, I mean, you basic stuff. The hammer that they sent me in like the basic tools lab or whatever is like the hammer I use every day for everything. So that's been great. Punches, hammers, chisels, woodworking tools, files. I think the most expensive piece was I did the 1911 course, was my final course. So they send you an 80% of frame with the jig to cut it and all of the parts to complete it. It's a stealth. Mine was a Stealth Arms kit, and that's like a $1,300 kit.
Damn.
Wow.
That they sent me, and then you take an 8-week course on the history of the 1911 and
Two World Wars.
2 World Wars.
I've been wanting to say that for the last 30 minutes. It's like, come on, give me a spot. Yep, there it is.
So you learn all the history about it and how to gunsmith it and all the intricacies of it, and then you get to build one.
Nice.
So I didn't build that one. I didn't do the 80%, but I took Wilson Combat and Caspian parts, and I built a really nice one for my dad.
Nice. My dad is a 1911 guy. I like 1911s. I'm partial to Nighthawk, even though I don't own one. But I want something. I went to the USCCA Expo this year in Pittsburgh, and got to talk to one of the reps from Nighthawk, and I said, "Look," I says, "build me an all black gun, all black everything, with a rail on it, and I'll buy it." And the guy goes, "You mean like this one?" And I went, "Exactly like that, but yeah, like that." Because I'm looking at it, I was like, "Well, no, just everything like that." And the price on it was a little higher than I'd be willing to pay. I think it was closer to $2,800 for it.
Yeah,
but Nighthawk comes, with that name.
I think if you can buy a kit that's everything you need to do a 1911, and I think you're going to pay around $2,000.
Yeah,
and that's just for all the parts. So it's like, ooh, that's.
Or if you want to spend baller money, you can go to Cabot.
Yeah, did you see their Fire and Ice set?
Yes, I actually seen it in person.
Really?
They had it at the USCCA Expo. They also had the meteorite one there.
I saw that one.
I got to hold that one. The guy let me hold it. I was like, this is way too much money for me to be holding.
Now, here's what a lot of people don't know. A lot of those Cabots are built in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is, I live 45 minutes from there. I work in Fort Wayne. Because their shop is not like a shop you can just walk into. It's legitimately just the machine and assembly shop. They don't have like a retail shop there that you can go in and buy.
Because they're based out of Cabot, PA.
Yes.
Which is not that far from us, actually. I think it's only about 3 hours.
Yeah, but they have a shop in Fort Wayne. The meteorite ones were built in Fort Wayne.
Nice.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he handed me that. He's like, "So do you want to hold a meteorite?" And I was like, "Oh, you're the guys that built it. Yes, please." Of course, then my wife's like, "I want it." "No, you don't. No, you don't want any of this." Because I don't have the price tag.
Yeah, when I noticed it when the video came out, and it has the markings, it has Cabot guns, and then it said Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was like, Cabot's not in Fort Wayne, they're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What are they, that doesn't make any sense. And then I got to look, and I'm like, they have a shop in Fort Wayne. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, you have a little one, too.
I have a visitor.
Hi, buddy.
Visitor here. You say hi? They might not be able to hear you, but what are you doing? What are you doing?
Dad life.
Yes, I'll be done in a little bit. Is that okay? You're hungry. It's bedtime.
Yes, but mine just went to bed and was yelling he was hungry.
Okay. I will in just a minute, okay? Alright, I love you. Now go away.
That's pretty much what I just did with mine. The wife took him upstairs. I was like, "I love you. Go."
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and what's kind of funny, I actually had a new customer. You want to sit on my lap? You can sit on my lap for a minute. I had a new customer recently. We just got to talking, and he needed some Cerakote work done. And he used to work for Cabot.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, "You did?" I was like, "Well, take a look at this 1911. This was the first one that I've ever built." So I was kind of learning, and I was like, "Be honest, how bad does it suck?" He's like, "This is really good." He's like, "Yeah, you've got a little spot here and a little spot there that, you could have blended a little bit better." He's like, this is the first one you ever did?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who taught you how to do it?" I did.
Myself?
Like,
Myself and YouTube.
Like, I figured it out, and he's like, this is really good. And I was like, yeah, I sell them for $2,500. You want to buy one? He's like, no, I don't. But all right, I tried.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was good.
And let me ask you, since you build 1911, why is it that 1911s hold their, that they're so high priced and hold their value?
Well, I can tell you why they're high priced, and that's because they take so long to build.
Yes, I've heard that.
So for me personally, now again, I mean, people who have been doing it for years can definitely do it a lot faster than me, but those are also the guys that are going to charge way more because they want to get paid $100 an hour. Me, I just make whatever I can make. I don't have to pay myself $100 an hour, and I don't have the overhead of a giant building and stuff like that. But it takes me somewhere between 80 and 100 hours to put one together.
Holy shit.
So, I mean, now again, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's going to be people that listen to this like, it takes you that long? Like, you suck. Like, well, I take my time. And
for everybody listening to this, realize this is a guy that has done this.
Yeah.
And I can tell, because I've seen some of your work, he is a perfectionist.
Yes.
So, he's like I am when I used to paint cars. Like, if it wasn't right, guess what? We're sanding down a $1,500 paint job just so I can get a damn quarter panel right.
Yep.
And, so, I see people always bitch about, the price. And sorry with the little one there. But,
it's okay.
I see people complain, the price and, this and, it's so expensive. And they're like, well, I'll just go buy a Kimber. And nothing against Kimber. I like Kimbers. But they're mass-produced. They're not like,
And that's the difference between a $900 1911 and a $2,000 1911. Because I've taken, so I bought, just because I was curious, so I went and bought a Rock Island kit, one of their $400 everything but the frame kits.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought a cheap Philippines frame from Sarco that was $100. And I had that thing slapped together in 3 hours. I didn't have to machine it, or I didn't have to file any parts. I didn't have to fit anything. Yeah, it works, but the fit and finish and form and function is 1,000 times different. That's the difference.
I'm guilty. I owned a Rock Island for a little bit. Yeah, that was the only 1911 I ever owned, and I regret selling it to a friend of mine. But I was big into the car scene, and he goes, I'll buy that off of you for a double din in-dash and some new speakers for your car. $800 worth of stuff for a $500 pistol? Sure.
Yeah. Well, see, and again, that's where, there's nothing wrong with them. They function great. They work. I didn't have any problems with it, but the frame to slide fit's a little sloppy.
I outshot a Miami-Dade cop with a Glock 19 with it.
Yeah, that's there's nothing wrong with them, but that's the difference, is that it takes 100 hours to put together a nice one and less than 3 to put together a not so nice one. So that's the difference. Somebody has to make money for their time. So
yeah, and we could go on for hours just on the companies that do 1911s.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And there's good companies out there. And then you're going to have everybody under the sun. You're a FUD, and you're this, and you're old, and yeah, well, guess what? I know people that are former Navy Special Warfare that can outshoot your ass with a 1911 versus your Gucci Glock.
Yeah.
And he can do it with iron sights while you do it with a red sight. And I think he can do it half intoxicated.
For me personally, I like firearms. 1911s, Glocks, Berettas, M&Ps, whatever.
Except Taurus.
Guns. Except Taurus. Yeah.
Taurus and High Point. We don't speak of those.
But the High Point has its place, though.
Yeah, never mind.
the high point has its place for that guy that only has $100 and needs to defend himself.
And wants to beat your ass with the gun when it's empty. Like, when I first seen the Yeet cannon, before they named it, I'm like, so it has a broom handle attachment. So, like, Mom can beat your ass with it when, like, you don't show up in time. And, like, High Point thought that was the greatest goddamn comment ever. And, then when they named it the Yeet cannon, I'm like, I'm strictly buying one of these, gonna slap a cheap-ass suppressor on it, shoot it, and when it's empty, I'm just gonna use it as a war club.
That's the way it should be. I love it. I love the idea.
So we've been doing this just shy of an hour, and the little one looks like he's, like, wanting dad time for a minute before he goes to bed. We got a couple last little questions.
All right.
I'm getting to the last two. You can ask him that one.
Okay. Since you do Cerakote and stuff, what's the demand on FDE like? How many people want FDE, and can you have too much?
You know what? I've had 0 FDE.
Wow.
Holy crap.
0 FDE.
I would like what?
Wait, hold on. I take that back. I was incorrect. 2, they were not specifically requested FDE, but I did an arid multicam, which my arid multicam is chocolate brown, vanilla sand, and FDE.
I would like 50 Shades of FDE.
Oh man, see, and that is, oh my gosh, it is insane. The difference is I had 2 different lots of FDE, and I purposefully kept some of the one when I ordered the new one to make sure, like, as I wanted to spray them and put them side by side, and there was a difference. It wasn't much, but if you've got them side by side, you can see that there is a difference. And I asked them about it. They're like, it's so hard. You can't make it the same every time.
Now that my wife's upstairs sleeping, we did an interview with Ash Hess last week, and I thought the wife was going to kill me when I brought it up. I actually went and took my Magpul pistol grip to Home Depot and said, I need you to match this paint color. So our bedroom is getting painted Magpul Flat Dark Earth.
Oh,
yeah, I legit took it in. I went, this color needs to be a hot paint. And they're like, what exactly is this? I was like, it is a pistol grip off of an AR-15 that is manufactured by Magpul, and I need that color. And they're like, oh, okay.
No problem.
So my bedroom, which we want to do an Oriental theme, but she's like, I don't know where Flat Dark Earth. Just paint the damn room Flat Dark Earth. We'll figure it out later.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I'm not a big fan of Flat Dark Earth. I just like that color.
I like Coyote Tan. It's kind of similar, but it's a little different.
I think that's basically like, I don't know why they call it Magpul Flat Dark Earth, because it's kind of more of a coyote.
Well, I think they have some colors. They must have had companies request like names, because I've seen Keltec Navy Blue, and Jesse James has like a Battleship Gray or something. I mean something. I don't remember that.
That dude, I'm a Jesse James fan, not just because of the guns. I'm a motorcycle guy, so the choppers and the cars. And when they said he was making guns, I was like, oh, these are going to be guns that you, like, take out once in a while and shoot, and then the rest of the time they hang on a frickin' mantle.
Yeah.
And when I seen the Nomad, when he brought out the Nomad, I was like, oh, yeah. Like, it met every expectation that I was expecting. The dude is, and I don't care what anybody says about his marriage life, whatever, he is the reason I got into working on cars and wanting to learn how to build bikes and cars and stuff. The guy is a god at fabricating.
Yeah, he is.
And when I seen his gun stuff come out, I was like, my friends are like, oh, it's Jesse James. I was like, what did you guys expect? Like, he ain't gonna do it subtle. They're gonna be badass. The price is a little over the top, but
one thing I love that he does with his Damascus 1911s, though, is he rolls the mold, like, so the Damascus rolls around the frame of the 1911. I love that. I mean, I wish I had the equipment to be able to do that.
I showed the wife that one. I was like, "Can I get one of these for Christmas?" And she goes, "No."
That's like $8,000. No, thank you.
Yeah. Personally, I would take the Nomad with the. I actually want the Cali compliant Nomad, and everybody's like, "Why?" Because it looks badass with the solid wood stock and everything. It looks cool.
Yep.
I don't know, but yeah, I've always been a Jesse fan. I mean, I have way too much. Actually, I don't know if you can see it. There's a picture up in my far corner of the room here. See if you can tilt it up. The light. If you look at the very top, it's the West Coast Chopper Gene that did all the lead work on it, autographed it for me.
Oh, that's cool. That's real cool.
And I have it sitting up there, and I'm an old school gearhead. I don't get time to wrench on stuff as much as I would like, but my wife goes, "You had to pick two of the most goddamn expensive hobbies in the world." Yeah, you had to look it up, didn't you?
Yeah.
He had to look up he had to look up the Cali compliant one, so I could just be jealous.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's definitely different.
It's different, but I like it. So basically, the last 3 questions. So we have a set of questions that we ask all of our guests, which we will save those to the last minute here. The last 3 questions, I'm basically going to just rattle them off. 1, 2, 3. Where do you draw the line at too much EDC gear? What's your range playlist when you do go to the range? And the big igloo.
Okay. Too much EDC. If your pockets are bulging to the point to where it's like, what the hell is going on? Probably carrying too much.
I think that's everybody's question.
Like knife, gun, keys, wallet.
Knife, gun, keys, wallet, spare knife, spare gun, spare mag, night vision goggles, blowout kit. I think I may be carrying too much. I don't carry that much.
I like to stick to the basics, you know. I got the gun, I got the spare mag, I got the knife, and then...
Well, it sucks because I can't carry a knife or a blade while I'm actually at work.
Yep.
A blade. But
I'm kind of similar. I can take my gun to work, and it can stay in the car, but it can't go...
That's the same thing. We can carry into the parking lot. And now we have Allegheny County Police Department, which I'm friends with a few of those guys, and they've always said, like, shit pops off, like, just come find one of us and just grab our gun. Okay. Like, they don't care. They're just like, we know you know how to shoot. Okay.
Right, that's all that matters. All right, there was the big igloo. What was the other one?
What's your range playlist? Like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, on a daily or when you're at work or...
So, man, from 5 deployments, I've learned that music is music. If I'm not picking it, I will listen to anything, and I mean literally anything, from Taylor Swift to death metal to rap. Like,
that's a military thing with Taylor Swift.
Like, I don't care what it is. If we're hanging out and we're just trying to pass the time on a deployment, as long as there's music playing, I'm going to listen to it. Now, if I get to choose, that's a different story. My go-to, working in the shop, I try to put in as many hours as I can. I mean, I put 40 hours in at work every week consistently, sometimes 60. And then I try to put in at least, it's usually 15 to 30 hours a week in the shop at home.
Do you sleep?
Most of the time. There's been did you see the pens and plates that I did for Redbeard Society?
Yes.
Okay, those we did 30 pens and 36 plates.
You mean the pen that I have that's sitting on top of my gun safe that I may or may not be saving that pen specifically to sign the closing contract on my house in 2 weeks?
Yes, I've been using. So I did a trial run of like 6 pens just to see if it was even possible. And I've been using that thing at work ever since, and I love it. And people always, every time they're like, "Oh, this is a cool pen," I'm like, "Yeah, do you want to buy one? I'll make you one. It's gonna cost you money, but pay me."
Dude, that is probably the most badass ass pen.
I'm sad I didn't get to get one.
I have next to the one that I carry every day, but that one I use every day, and that's a Rick Hinder Investigator. But it's smaller and it sets in my pocket better than that one.
Okay,
but
those...
that one, I told Josh, I said, dude, I'm going to save this one for a special occasion because I knew we were getting ready to buy the house. I said, I'm strictly going to save this one for a special occasion. And he goes, what? And I said, dude, when I signed the contracts for my house. So I already told the bank, I was like, I don't need a pen. No. I was like, I have a special pen already ready to go. And the girl looks at me. She goes, wait, you have I was like, yeah, don't worry. You'll see when I get here. I have to sign 56 pages to buy this house. And I will straight up sign it with every bit of that pen. And I will take a picture at the very end to send to you guys of it setting on the case with my patch and everything on all the documents and be like, yep, this is what this pen was saved for.
That's awesome. So those things, I got kind of started on them. The stenciling alone took me forever, but I did the first run. I did like 12 pens, 12 pens and 15 patches. And then the second kind of batch that I did it all in one shot. I'm like, okay, we're coming up to deadline. I took the day off work. I got in the shop at 6 a.m. and I worked from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Holy shit!
And that's how I did another, 15 pens and 16 plates, 18 plates, whatever it was, and I got them all done all in one shot. But it took me that long to do half of those pens and plates.
Wow.
It was a lot of work.
That's insane. And they turned out freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved how they turned out. I know you're jealous.
Yeah, I am.
Sorry. I absolutely loved how I think everybody has liked how they turned out and likes, their pen. And really everyone's kind of unique in its own aspect.
The pattern, I print it off, because I do my own stenciling. I have a machine to do all my own stencils, and so I just cut the stencils, and I just kind of randomly laid them on the pens and plates, however I was feeling like it at the time. There was no rhyme or reason to it. It was just whatever I felt like,
Yeah, they turned out awesome. And for our listeners that don't know, I will post a picture of my personal pen and the tiny little awesome Pelican case that it came in. I think that was the kicker, is that little Pelican case.
Well, so we found, it was almost like a hunting rifle case, and it was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but man, we gotta find, we need something more tactical. And then he texted me, he said, we need something more tactical, and I texted him back with, oh, you mean like this? And it was a link to buy those, and he's like, yep, we're doing this.
I thought that was awesome when I got it. I was like, dude, that was kind of the selling point for me was the badass little case. I was like, yes, that's cool as hell.
Now looking back, I was like, next time we do this, I'm charging you more. And he's like, fair enough.
You put in a lot of work, and joining the Redbeard Society around that time, but knowing you and knowing Josh before that, and then joining the Redbeard Society and then seeing all the work that went into that, I'm just like, holy shit, this dude's busting his ass. And it was so neat, my wife goes, you seriously spent that much on a pen? I was like, shut up, it's a one-off pen, just deal with it. Because I don't ever really buy, a lot of one-off stuff. So I was happy to get that. So the last one is the Big Igloo. And then we have our last three that we always ask. What do you think about the Big Igloo? And is it in the foreseeable future, or is it just a lot of talk?
I think there's definitely a possibility. especially if red flag stuff happens more often, I think that's when you're going to start to see it. Because people are going to be mad about their rights being taken away.
Absolutely.
Without due process.
Well, I just read an article today, and now I'm not sure how true it is, but Florida prosecuted the first person under their state red flag laws. And I don't know if it's true, if it's not true. I'm waiting to. I think Virginia will be the pop-off point for it.
Yep. Probably, I think so. Because I think I think we can all agree that there's definitely times that people shouldn't have guns. There's definitely
absolutely
should not. I think everybody agrees on that. But having them taken away without due process is where there's a difference. I mean, you go through the system, and let's be honest here. The background check system is broken. It absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's because people don't do their jobs. It's not because the system doesn't work. It's because somebody didn't submit the records that are supposed to go in there.
Law enforcement and so on and so forth.
That's not the background check. There's not the system.
Yeah, that's not NCIC or the FBI's background check fault. It's the local Leos and whoever else is. Yeah, the administrators that aren't doing their job, that we're paying them thousands and thousands of dollars a year.
So how about we fix that problem? And then the people that shouldn't have guns won't. Problem solved. Criminals are going to get guns no matter what. So.
Well, that's what I've always said. I was like, go look at every other country. Criminals are still going to get guns, but, let's not take them away from the people that are going to put holes in bad guys.
Exactly. Look at what happened to the UPS driver.
Yeah,
and there's not one person that says cops shouldn't have guns. Well, look at what those guys do.
Yeah, wait. I'm not even going to touch on that tonight because I want to actually talk about that on a later podcast. Probably that I do. I may even do it myself if he can't later this week. Because that just...
Yeah.
That pissed me off in so many ways. Plus, I had a cousin who at the time was not, but he was at Pensacola. And just so happened to be like a month ago was not there. Like, he's now not there as of a month ago and is out doing solo flights for his helicopter, which I laughed at him. I was like, so you're going to be a rotorhead instead of a pilot? He's like, I'm still a pilot. I was like, you're a rotorhead.
No, you're not.
Hey, he went further than I did, and I give him credit because when we were growing up, he's way younger than me. I never thought he was... I never, would have thought that he would have went to the military. He went on a water polo scholarship. And he okay. It's funny now because my dad showed me the picture of him flying the helicopter. He's got, the porn stash and everything. I was like... Dude, you went full on, all right, okay, I'm cool. I got a cousin that's going to be a little badass. I'm good with this.
That's cool.
So the last three questions we ask, they varied because since you're in the firearm industry, but we always ask, what's your favorite firearm, your favorite caliber, and favorite optic?
Oh, man.
And that's normally the reaction we get.
Wow. That's a really tough question. Because for me, favorite firearm is a lot different depending on the use. So...
Just in general, let's say your general one. If you had to make a 1 to 10 list of your top 10 firearms.
My favorite firearm. I'm going to have to say 1911 is my number one favorite firearm.
2 World Wars.
And it's okay, boomer.
Sorry, I had to do it.
No, but it's because it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to build one. It's not something you can just slack together and call it good. It takes time and detail and stuff like that. And I'm a real detail-oriented person, and I'm a perfectionist, so it really fits my niche very well.
And I have seen that, like, looking at some of your stuff.
Okay, what was the second one?
Favorite caliber.
Favorite caliber. I would have to say general purpose. I love 5.56. It can have a lot of uses, but 6.5 Creedmoor for precision shooting is I love doing that.
I think that's become everybody's favorite caliber is the 6.5 Creed all of a sudden.
I love the 6.5 Creedmoor. I've built a few AR-10s and shot 3/4 MOA using the gas gun at 100 yards with them and loved every minute of it.
I think we need to be talking to him soon.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, if you hadn't listened to the last podcast, so me and this guy over here are going to be shooting one of Ash Hess's quantified performance competitions in September.
Oh, cool.
So we may be in talks.
All right, that will work out great. Favorite optic.
And that can be a red dot on a pistol to, a $3,000 Night Force optic.
I'll tell you what, whenever we went to the Iraq Veteran 8888 shoot, I shot a Desert Tech MDR 6.5 Creedmoor with a Calais 6-24 optic.
Wow.
Holy cow. That was probably one of my favorite optics I've ever used. Will I ever buy one? No, because that setup that we shot that day was like a $9,000 setup.
Jesus, wow.
Between the rifle, I think the rifle was like $4,800. The suppressor was like $1,500, and then the scope was like $2,000, and then the mount was like $300. Something.
Well, now $9,000 doesn't sound bad for what my dream rifle is.
But I was like, it was fun. I enjoyed shooting it. That was great glass. But I'm a big fan of like the 1-8s on general purpose ARs, like kind of your all around duty tool.
I have a Strike Eagle 1-6 on mine.
Okay, I love the Strike Eagle 1-6s and 1-8s are great.
And a lot of people give Vortex. Oh well, there's this. I like Vortex. They got some clear ass glass.
Yep. Their Viper PST Gen 2 1-8 is probably. You're gonna pay like $700 for it. Yeah. But it's a phenomenal.
We have a Viper. I believe it's a Viper. PST going on my dad's Ruger Precision 6.5 Creed.
Nice.
And Ash last week basically told him, he's like, through the podcast, he's like, when you see your dad next, tell him to get off his ass and put that optic on there. Because I want to get out and get shooting that too. But my thing is I'm off, 2 days a week, and the days that I have, I try to spend time with my family or at the range, at the time that I get shooting or doing stuff with podcasts. So now I'm trying to redo everything so I can get more time to do podcast stuff and be at the range.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we got all the questions. Where can our listeners find you at? Where do they search for you at?
So we have Facebook and Instagram as Liberty Bell Firearms, and then we're also libertybellfirearms.com. And then you can, so the business line goes direct to my cell phone, so you can call me, text me. That's 260-296. Wait for it, 0556.
Yes.
Nice. So what you're saying is I'm going to now start sending you text messages at 2 a.m.
That's fine. I'll get them when I get up. Unless I'm still in the shop working, which is a possibility.
Yeah, I'm not going to get a reply of F off, I'm sleeping.
I'm going to show off one more thing.
Oh boy.
I'm proud of this thing. I did I don't know what word I like better. I like Cryptech because that sounds cool, but I like Dragon Skin because it sounds even cooler.
Yeah,
So
dragon skin.
Yeah, I like dragon skin.
I did my first dragon skin pattern on a Remington 870.
Oh,
And I got it unweeded today, and here is the Magpul stock that's going on it.
damn!
That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. This was my first time doing dragon skin, and it turned out great. So the whole entire gun will look like that. The barrel, the receiver, the handguard.
You may be doing a Glock 19 that way soon. Like,
I also learned in doing this, I have to charge a little extra for the dragon skin.
that's fine.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I cut vinyl, and I was cutting a sticker for him yesterday, and I'm going through. It took me like an hour to weed the one sticker because there's a leaf on it, and trying to weed out all the little tiny pieces.
Yeah,
It's
my
like,
bad.
oh my god!
I spent just to lay the stencils on this shotgun took me 6 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah. I've got 12 hours total into it, and I have to de-weed, pull all the stencils off, and reassemble it still. So.
Wow.
Yep.
That's insane.
But you know what though? Whenever I hand that gun to the customer and like their face lights up and their jaw drops,
It's worth it.
I think back to all the nights where I slept 3 hours before going to work, and I'm like, yeah, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, if you want to hang around for a couple more minutes, we'll go ahead and end the podcast, and then we can talk off air. Other than that, I got no more questions.
Nope.
This is the Tactical Gnome
The Bearded Tank.
Daddy Brigade podcast out.